Hi, I'm Dr. Thiagarajah. I'm here to talk today about recovery after cosmetic eyelid surgery. What is the normal recovery after cosmetic eyelid surgery? Now that's a pretty complicated question because the recovery of surgery depends on several factors. First, it depends on how much was done. If someone is getting a blepharoplasty, or just removing the skin of the eyelid, or someone is getting a ptosis repair where the eyelid is actually raised into a higher position, or both, that can make a big difference how much bruising and swelling they have and how long recovery will be. The tendency is the more procedures you have on your eyelids, the longer your recovery will be. So let's go over some simple cosmetic procedures and the average time that it takes for patients to recover. So for most blepharoplasties of the upper eyelid, the recovery is about 2 weeks. For the lower eyelids, the recovery is a little bit longer, about 15 or 16 days. I tell patients that this is a bell curve. Everybody's a little bit different. Some people heal much faster, and some people take a longer time. Now that depends on each patient, on their age, their health status, and many other factors. Additionally, if there happens to be some bleeding during the surgery, there can be more bruising around the eyes and the cheek. That'll take a while to go away. In some patients, that can even take as long as 4 to 6 weeks. The good news is that patients can use cover-up to cover up the bruising so it is not visible after about a week or two. What about swelling of the eyelid? When does that go away? Swelling of the eyelids usually returns to what patients and their friends consider as normal in about 2 weeks. Now that being said, I've done surgery on patients and they told me afterwards, Dr. T, I recovered after 3 to 4 days and I feel that my bruising and swelling is gone. And I explained to them, you happen to be on a much faster healing side of that bell curve. So if I was a patient getting blepharoplasty, I would consider 2 weeks to be the window for my recovery. During that time period, I want to rest, ice it, and essentially not do anything to cause any further bruising or swelling on the eyelids. 2 weeks should allow the patient enough time so that they can use cover-up and return to work and other social activities. I hope this was helpful and gives you a guide of what to expect after cosmetic eyelid surgery. I'm Dr. Thiagarajah.